Okay, I've been spending the day creating some, bronchioles or airways in the lungs, and I wanted to go ahead and record the process, um, mostly for later, so I can remember what I did. Let's see. Basically, I started off with a group of splines here. Kind of drew out my airway, and during today I've been fleshing it out. Basically, I'll start by let's see, grab a sweep nerbs to make my tube. Already did this one. Grab my next path. What I do is I set the circle to have one intermediate point, which is going to give me a symmetrical shape that's going to have 8 polygon segments around, which is going to be a nice shape to work with when I put it in a Hypernurbs. Okay. So what I do is I take my, my new path, kind of get it evened up with the last one. About the same size. Then I try and line up these joints so that I kind of have the same number. So if this first joint is going to align with this one, I've really got too many right here. You can turn up the degrees of the angle to give you less. Since it's Hypernurbs, it's going to be smoothed. Let's see. Once I get it about close, I'm going to just manually do it. So let's do current state to object, hide our sweep nerbs, and get our new polygons. I'm going to delete the caps, and then just drop this up here under the Hypernurbs with the existing tube. I'm using a cloth nerbs to add some depth to the cube. You can see when I turn it all on. The cloth nerbs is going to give us a little depth here. I guess really I need to create a cut so you can see that. So yeah, so there you go. Cloth nerbs just adds a little bit of a thickness. So let me get back to creating my points. So just from doing this for the day, I know that I've got to line up kind of my breakaway point here. My next layer of points here. Really, you can keep this the midsection of the spline. You want to kind of start that aligned with this one here. So this should kind of line up here, and then it's going to slowly diverge and get farther away for each point. Let's see. So once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and delete the polygons that are going to overlap so that I can stitch it together. Let's see, that's 3 segments on this object. Then when I come to this object, I'm going to also want to do 3. You want to have an even number so that when you stitch these together, it all works. You have that same even number of shapes. So now that I've got my basic shapes lined up, and really I'm going to want to tweak this row a little bit. I want that corner to line up. So maybe something more like this. Like, see, earlier in the day I was really using way too many segments for the curve. You really want to keep this number down so that you get a more consistent mesh, other than getting a mesh that's got all these fine lines and then spread apart lines. This is just going to be a little bit better. Okay. So, and you can see when I turn on the Hypernurbs, kind of how this shape's going to work together. So let's go to this view, and I'm going to start joining and sewing together these points, and then I'm going to do it in a way that produces all quadrangles, just for a smoother mesh. So get my selection tool, turn off only select visible elements, so that I can get the 2 points that I need. Let's see, I'm going to go ahead and connect objects plus delete. I want to get these 2 objects into one object so I can join the points. So now I've just got one object. I can grab 2 points, hit the weld tool, and then weld it at the point that I want to weld. Go ahead and do that with the rest of these. Just welding that gray portion up to the orange existing tube. When you select your points, you want to make sure that your selected points is 2. If you get more than 2 points, that means you grabbed a couple of points in the background, and that's not what you want. So every time I select some points, I just glance up here, make sure it says 2. You can select all and do Command Optimize. Delete those points from earlier. So again, just keep moving along, sewing these together. Now when I get to the end here, this is kind of the tricky part. And to make this a little easier to see, I'll go ahead and connect these pieces. Just let it center up. At this point, this is all going to be one straight line. So you could come into this view and just move these in a little bit. Oops, I have to actually have both points selected. So 2 points. Go to this front viewport and move it in. Just kind of keep that angle. So now I've got a 4-sided shape here. Close that off. These are all 4-sided polygons here. So that's going to pretty much give me what I want. Let me just go ahead and do the same thing on the opposite side. Okay. Weld these together. Weld these together. And then close this hole. Now one thing that I kind of end up here with, I have a 4-sided polygon, but occasionally, you know, if you pull this piece up a little bit too much, then you bring this edge in, so it's inward. And then what that'll give you in this viewport, sometimes it'll correctly kind of draw a line here, but sometimes they'll make an odd overlap. This one looks fine when you look at it in the viewport. Let me find, there's one other one in here somewhere that's got that odd overlap. This one right here. See the way it kind of decided to triangulate your 4-sided shape? It did it the other way. So it kind of looks like a triangle. The thing is, when you turn on the Hypernurbs, it goes ahead and fixes it. So I'm not sure if that's really a problem or not. Once you turn on Hypernurbs, it works. So I'm going to go with that. So now it's created a selection tag. When I join the 2 things, go ahead and delete the selection tag and delete the selection for the material. And that's going to give me my material throughout the little piece. So that gives you a nice, smooth, even curve. Um, and again, you've got a mesh that's going to be pretty consistent across that curve. And that's about it. That's kind of the process I've been using to do this airway. A lot of anatomical features kind of have a similar look. If you're doing an airway or a vein or an artery, neurons, neural pathways, those sorts of things might look similar. So you're going to need to kind of create the same tubes, splitting apart. So hopefully that helps you. And just going to finish on just kind of show you again the mesh, how it joins together, because that's kind of the important thing. And then you keep these segments all kind of follow, and they're all four-sided.